Hey guys, it's Merritt with S&B. I am delivering the promised follow-up video to the one I did 2 weeks ago on volume profiling with the Emini S&P 500 futures contract, that is. So remember, we had 2 distributions leading up into that week, and so I just want to be thorough here and show how it played out. We were very rangy in this upper distribution here, and sure enough, that held. We never even got into testing the lower node, and we even attempted to really make a breakout and retest and go a couple times, but the buyers really just didn't have it, and the sellers prevented that from happening. And so really we ended up quite range bound for that week, but still closed up at the highs there. So headed into the following week, okay, as Sunday night trade starts to open up, what's our structure? Real quickly, we'll just cover this week, and then I want to make sure to get to this current week and take a look at where we are right now. So the way I see this is that there are 3 distributions here. Obviously, this one being a very clear one, but still a low volume area right here. We could make the case for this being 2 separate nodes instead of just one. Either way, the structure will work for you. Just the more fine-tuned you go, just like anything else, it's almost like a lower time frame level. So heading into that, what do we see right off the bat? We attempt to break out. Again, we had a lot of selling from this area, and what do? We fail very quickly. Very clear breakout failure sign. I really love this here. After you have the breakout failure, what do? We go to the tick to this low volume area from this upper distribution. We come back and reject again, and the market is really showing us that we cannot trade at the moment beyond last week's value, where the bulk of the trade occurred. This is a great area to get short from. And what happens the rest of the week? We push down. This LVN holds us here. We rotate, big spike, rotate again back in this same area, go up, test the highs. It fails again. More rotation within these areas. I mean, look at that. Just extremely rotational week. Extremely. But still, 2 things I'd like to say about that. One, some great trade locations from the edges of the distributions from the previous week. And 2, know the context of the trade. Know what's occurring according to last week's volume. And for a lot of these trades, this is not the kind of trade you want to get in and just hold and see what it can do. These are the kind of trades where you really want to have those targeted exits and plan to, for example, if you're getting short here, you definitely want to be taking some profits here and here. If you're getting long in this area, you definitely want to be taking some profits here, and then again if it gets up to those highs. Just any of these zones, you really want to be taking profits in that next area of what I would call potential opposing order flow. Now, if you break above the previous week's structure or below, then that's the time to really secure the good trade location and allow more of a trend type of trade management strategy where you really allow those winners to run, but not in this scenario. This is a take profits targeted trade scenario. So let's get it to the current week. So what is the structure as we come into the beginning of the week on Monday? Well, we had this really balanced consolidating week, so we really just have one distribution here. Sure, you could say there's a LVN here, and here, and those did provide some, decent levels going forward. But in terms of the majority of trade in the main distribution, it's really just that one. So not a lot to work with here, but still something meaningful. So we open here. This is a great place to be getting long, and again, I would say this is a place to be getting long and being ready to hold and give it a chance to trend. Now, obviously, that didn't happen. But my job is not to sit here and tell you just what works in hindsight. My job is to just show you using this tool, and just like anything else, I would expect and manage the trade for a trend here, and it didn't happen. We just saw sellers too strong right here, absorbing buyers, and we come right back down. So at this point, we're either going to bounce again, or they're not going to be able to take the bounce. As you can see, that's what happened. We pushed down. So just like the previous week, now these retests up to this area after we've seen the failure to stay above last week's value is a market profile term here. These are good short locations, with a destination in mind of traversing that and testing the other side of that distribution. Initially, we were checked up right here, which is another area to be aware of, which is that most traded price from last week. Okay. So where are we right now, and what's the expectation? We're this area we're at right now is exactly the same as when I talked about being at this area right here. You could just flip the chart upside down and it's the same thing. Okay, so one of two things are going to happen, and you've got to read shorter term charts and order flow and whatever it is that you use to pull the trigger to figure out how this is going to trade. But for me, it's all about this level here. So if we sell below here and things look good, on order flow and things, I'm going to be getting short right here. This is simply a retest up back to last week's distribution, and we could easily just trade right back down to this 45 low volume area, and potentially fresh lows as well. If we continue to push up and maybe pull in and find support at this 2156, then I'm going to expect us to push to this high volume area right here at 6450, or all the way up to traverse the other side of last week's distribution at 2170. Okay, so there's two scenarios there based on where we are right now at a kind of a key inflection point. I hope that's helpful, and we'll talk to you soon. What are you doing this Friday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern? If you're a trader and you're winding down the week, maybe things are a little bit slower around that lunchtime period, join me and Andrew Faldy for trading conversations. We don't have a script. We literally just open up the floor and take questions from you guys, the SMB community, and answer it as best we can. It's kind of fun. We just loosen up and talk about trading and wrap up the week. So join us at 1:30 each Friday.